We're live again. All right, I've got King of the Hill's most shocking episode changed the show for the better. This is all about Propane Boom and Propane Boom 2, Death of a Propane Salesman.
Okay.
It's about how it kind of changed the trajectory of the entire thing. Let me see if I can't bring this up here. We can get it in front of us. There it is. Actually, that could be by itself. Let's do it that way. All right, let me share this window. Tab. This is going to be King of the Hill's most. And it gets very warm in here.
Yeah, it's a warm day for sure.
Okay, you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's put us in little circles. I like that. Okay, let's run our thing and we'll do this real quick.
All right, let's do it.
Yep.
Through the night, deep in the heart of Texas, the trailer park is nice and dark. Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to King of the Hill podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
He is Rusty almost every day.
Almost, except for when I introduce myself incorrectly.
Do you introduce yourself incorrectly sometimes?
Well, I mostly introduce myself as Rusty, but my government name, sometimes it just depends on the settings.
Slips out. Well, like when we
work
were at the
settings. Work settings.
When we were at the TV station, she you said your real name and she was like, "Oh my God, did I get it wrong?"
Yeah, no, she didn't get it. No, you got it right. You got it right.
Yeah, it was right. It was right. Okay, so today, again, it is a That's Not Right Friday, and we normally go over like some articles and things like that have shown up. For this one, we're going to do King of the Hill's most shocking episode changed the show for the better. This is a Collider, which is a little more reputable probably than Cracked, article, and it is by Lenny Burnham. It was published January 12th of this year. So not that
a
old.
recent one, yeah.
Yeah, King of the Hill was a strong show from the very beginning. In its first year, Entertainment Weekly and Time included it on their best TV of the year list. But it truly defined itself and stood out from other Fox animated series like The Simpsons with its bold two-parter, Propane Boom and Propane Boom 2, Death of a Propane Salesman. Now, these are the ones where Luann's boyfriend is killed because Megalomart blows up.
Yeah, this is the back-to-back episode for season 2, right?
Yeah, this is a hell of an episode, too. And he's right. I mean, it does change the way that King of the Hill was, because we hadn't seen anything this dark from it yet. And also we killed off one of the characters. I mean, Buckley was a pretty integral character, honestly, in that first season. And so it was a little weird to kill off one of those people. It says Propane Boom was the season 2 finale and ended with an explosion at the Megalomart while Hank Hill, Luann Platter, and Buckley were inside. Between episodes, Fox ran promos speculating which of these characters had died. So this was a cliffhanger, kind of like Who Shot JR, that kind of stuff. It said the cliffhanger had the subsequent character death, and they were more of like a publicity stunt, honestly. It said they were an important arc that showed audiences exactly how good King of the Hill could be. King of the Hill dealt with consequence of its shocker. So this is a very good point here in the fact that it did deal with the consequences because, honestly, Peggy thought Hank was dead.
I think this is like the first death, too. The first actual death of the show, I think, is Buckley.
Yeah. Peggy thought Hank was dead. Luann thought she was dead. Then she finds out that Buckley's dead. All of her hair is gone. Bobby thought his dad was dead or really injured, that kind of thing. So, I mean, it was a heavy thing there. And I can especially imagine, and I think I do remember watching it, where the thing blew up and then they would run all those promos like, oh, did we kill off Hank? Did we kill off, Luann? What happened? And I mean, we came back and it was just Buckley, but still, it was a very surprise. As a matter of fact, it says it wasn't surprising when the character who died in the explosion turned out to be Buckley. Most viewers expected this ancillary character to be killed off rather than a major character like Hank and Luann. But what was surprising and what makes Propane Boom feel so defining in retrospect is how long the show continued to deal with the fallout. This is very true. Luann went a little nuts.
Yeah, honestly. She did. She went. This one was tough for her for sure. She shaved her head and everything.
Yeah, it says Luann slowly regrowing her hair after losing it in the explosion is a visual marker of time you don't expect from a cartoon. And that's true. You think about like Wile E. Coyote, he gets hit in the head with a frying pan. His face is in the shape of a frying pan until the next frame, and then he's fine. And that's how we're used to it being in cartoons. That's what shows you that this show is just a little bit different from than just any adult animation you see.
Yeah, and what I liked about it, he kind of mentions later on in the article about a dramedy or whatever. Even though that there's a major event happening and somebody dies, they still keep it full of jokes and like comedy and stuff like that. So it doesn't ever get too morose. It doesn't ever get like there's not like a whole bunch of grieving and stuff like that. It deals with grief in a way that it doesn't slip into like a drama feel to it.
Yeah, it was never like Silver Spoon's very special episode where everybody's on dope or whatever. It doesn't feel like one of those at all. And boy, did we have a lot of those in the 80s. It says there are multiple episodes throughout season 3 dealing with her grief, including the Thanksgiving episode and Wings of Dope, which came at the tail end of the season. King of the Hill used the explosion and Buckley's death to distinguish itself from other animated shows by showing how they would handle the consequence of major events and the passage of time. At the same time, the show never missed a beat comedically, like you were saying. Propane Boom is full of jokes, and the two-parter showed King of the Hill could deal with grief and PTSD without ever slipping into dramedy territory. And that's an important thing to set it aside from all these other shows. It says Buckley's death set the stage for other dramatic arcs for King of the Hill. Propane Boom set the stage for other shocking cliffhangers and long arcs that would come later. Season 3 ended with Peggy Hill jumping out of an airplane and discovering her parachute's emergency cord doesn't work, in which she doesn't go flat, but every bone in her body. If it weren't for Buckley's death in the previous finale and Luann's long grieving process, this season finale wouldn't have had the same impact, and that's absolutely right. But because King of the Hill had established itself as a show where events can have real consequences, Hank watching Peggy plummet to the ground was meaningful, and on another show it probably wouldn't have been.
Yeah, because on The Simpsons and Family Guy, somebody could die or be blown to pieces, right back up. And then they're in the next episode kind of thing. But
the only thing I can think of is Flanders' wife dying in The Simpsons, because she died and she was gone.
Yeah, that was like killing off voice actors kind of thing, though. That's like voice actor stuff.
But I don't think he really ever had to deal with it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like an ongoing thing, and it certainly wasn't a passage of time type thing. It says that they handled it different than other shows would, because normally they would suffer comedically, but they did not. It says Propane Boom and the promo campaign surrounding it were similar to the Who Shot Mr. Burns cliffhanger stunt. I'd forgotten about that, but that's true. The Simpsons had done earlier, but it had bigger stakes and a more macabre feel since it was built around an actual character's death. In the second part of Who Shot Mr. Burns is immediately revealed not to be dead. This approach couldn't be more different than how the second part of Propane Boom handles the fallout from the explosion at Megalomart. In King of the Hill, not only is there a genuine death, but the character's grief and PTSD permeate the episode. As an animated show with more realistic side than most cartoons, King of the Hill threads in mostly new territory, so the series constantly defines itself and the rules of its universe. The shocking cliffhanger helped define the world of King of the Hill as one of the major events like death could happen and have serious consequences without eclipsing the comedy. And I think that's absolutely true. It did change the way that they dealt with almost everything, honestly, because going forward, Luann, this is without that, you probably
actually.
don't
Sorry to interrupt you.
All that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of looked up the Maud Flanders thing. They actually do kind of mention, they have small mentions throughout the episode. So there's one episode where Bart and Lisa are outside playing with a t-shirt cannon, and the t-shirt cannon, Homer says, well, no one's ever been killed by a t-shirt cannon before. And one of the t-shirts launches through Ned's house and hits a picture of Maud Flanders. And then there's one called Flan Canyon, and there's a bunch of flashbacks of her and Ned on a family vacation. So they kind of do keep her alive a little bit in that sense, but in the continuity way that like King of the Hill does thing, I would say no, probably not.
Yeah. Artie said Peggy's accident also leads to many Cotton storylines connections. That's absolutely true. Without that, you couldn't have forwarded the Cotton storyline. Peggy's accident, he said, I said it before, animated modern Andy Griffith, and he's absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
I think the show handles these type subjects completely differently, and this is a really good reminder for us with the reboot. I think what you're going to see is them dealing with other deaths. I think you're also going to see them dealing with the passage of time. Obviously, since you're fast forwarding 15 years.
I wonder if how different everybody's going to look physically, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've already seen a sneak peek of Bobby, so we know what he looks like.
Yeah, I'm curious as if everybody's going to be gray, have gray hair. Yeah. I imagine Boomhauer dyes his hair anyway, so his hair, I don't think that's his natural hair color. So it might be, it might not be, but either way, I feel like he would dye his hair. Bill's bald, so it doesn't matter. But I feel like Dale's bald too, a kind of balding on top. So I imagine everybody who's not bald will have gray hair, or Boomhauer, he'd probably dye his hair.
I think Bill looks exactly the same, maybe a little bigger. I think Boomhauer looks older, and he's probably gone to like the George Clooney, salt and pepper look kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dale, I would imagine, looks exactly the same too. Artie says that he thinks that Bill lost a foot to the diabetes.
I could see that.
I could definitely see that. I was watching clips from 30 Rock the other day, and it was all of Dr. Spaceman, which is Dr. Spaceman. And he is talking to Tracy Jordan, and he tells him that he could possibly lose a foot to the diabetes. And he's like, well, that's not terrible. He goes, can I get the foot replaced with a wheel? Like, yeah, maybe. Which I think is probably the first question I would ask also. But yeah, King of the Hill handles this stuff completely differently. So just remember that going forward, guys, with the reboot. I think we could see a lot of this replay itself. I could see Peggy maybe having back pain and stuff like that. I mean, we never really had any of that kind of stuff happen.
No, she just, after the surgery and she was fixed again and healed, there wasn't really a lot of like lingering issues.
This is 15 years later, and I can tell you, as somebody who has had some back surgery and a hip replaced, that there are ongoing issues, and the further I get away from it, the less it works.
Well, I will say one thing: the one issue you don't have is that the best player on your basketball team being traded away. As a Spurs fan, you didn't have to worry about losing a generational talent like Luka Doncic. So
you didn't. There are a lot of stories came out about him not playing defense and not being in good condition and things like that. But I still don't think that's a reason you trade away your biggest player.
I don't think it's a horrible trade though. Anthony Davis isn't a bad player. He's just as good, I feel like, and I think he plugs right in for the Mavs. But I think the big issue is he just bought a $15 million home. Nobody had
saw that.
talked to him. Nobody had talked
Yeah.
to him or discussed it. Like if they sat down and had a conversation with him and said, "This is the business move that we need to make for the business side of everything," then I could see it being okay. But they also got a first round pick too in the draft for next year. So they got Anthony Davis, a first round pick, and some other player. I can't remember the other player's name. So
Yeah.
it's not
always a
like they
salary
just
filler.
gave him away. He did get
No,
get
they
a
didn't
good-
give him away, but
they did
again,
get some
he
pieces.
was your franchise player. And
He
so
was. He definitely
that is
was.
completely changing your franchise. And I don't know that you're going to I don't know that you're going to reap the benefits from it this year.
No, probably not.
Because Anthony Davis took a little bit to get with the Lakers too. So, and I don't know how pissed off he is about it,
Yeah, he might be pissed too. Yeah.
because he does play defense because he's so big, but where is all that offense going to come from?
You know what I think's the funniest thing about all of this is that all these guys make tens of millions of dollars, but they're still just pawns
Oh
in
yeah.
a game for billionaires.
Well,
So
again,
they're-
like you
they're
say,
just pawns. Yeah.
Luka is 25, AD is 31. That's a good point, Artie.
Yeah. But
Uh,
LeBron
yeah.
is 40 and he just put up the most points ever for a 40-year-old. So
Yeah, because they all get out of
age-
his way at this point.
Yeah, they do. It's a different game than it used to. It's just not fun to watch anymore. Period. I don't really.
Not as fun as it was. No,
Yeah.
I'm enjoy watching my Spurs just simply because I feel like they're rebuilding the right way.
Yeah.
But
It's just
as
like
they-
baseball. Whenever they stopped the PED stuff and everybody got
Yeah.
mad about the steroid usage, baseball just wasn't fun anymore to watch when the guys' forearms didn't look like
Yeah.
big meaty hams and they were crushing
Yeah.
the ball. Like when Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa and all those guys, King Griffey, when they were going for the records and stuff.
that was a
for all
fun
the-
summer. That
It
was,
was
a fun summer.
summer of baseball.
Yeah. You can get out a lot of that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
you
yeah.
have from Sammy. Artie says that AD ain't LeBron. That's absolutely true.
No, he's not.
But-
He's not.
I don't know that the Lakers got their solution either. This guy's going to provide a lot of offense, but where does the defense come from?
Well, they're
you
both
know?
ball hogs, Luka and
Yeah.
LeBron. Who's going to
Yeah.
have the ball? They're both.
They
They're
say
both
they want to
ball
play
guys.
together.
Yeah.
They have said before that they wanted to play together for a long time, but man, it's not always what you think it's going to be. And
No,
these
we'll see.
power teams that they try to put together like this, they just don't work
Ruins the
out
sport.
most of the
It ruins
time.
the sport too.
Yeah. But as a Spurs fan, I am very happy that the Lakers are different and Dallas is less. So
There you
I
go.
want to thank both franchises for leaving us in the dust. Now, if Houston could just dismantle their entire team and go out of business, that would be great. We'd be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, all right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us for a Friday. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back on Monday doing another thing. Artie says LeBron is out next contract. LA Lakers will be Luka's team going forward.
We'll
That's
see.
a tough one. That's a tough one because I don't know that the Lakers run a good ship there. But anyway, good to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We want to appreciate all of the people that are in the live stuff,
Yeah, we
especially
thank
Artie.
y'all.
Thanks for being here, Artie. Hey, if you didn't get a chance to watch us be on TV the other day talking about this show, I think we'll put it probably in our feed just for the hell of it. So it's there. Rusty put it back in the live feed, but I'll probably put it on YouTube too. Just since we've got it, we might as well. And you guys can go watch that and enjoy it. Hopefully, I thought we did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
I did think it was funny, those big ass pictures of our faces behind us. But
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
anyway, you want to tell them where they can find us for more stuff?
Yep, you can find us at BWAAAKOTH on all platforms, or you can go to youtube.com/@BWAAAKOTH. Like, subscribe, and go check out some videos and throw some comments up. And I respond to all of them. So there you go.
Hey, Rusty, this is just for you. I'm fixing to send you an email. I don't know if you're interested in this or not, but there's a company that is doing a virtual game show at 7:00 tonight that you can be
Oh,
part
that'd be
of.
interesting. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
check that
that'd be
out.
kind of fun to watch. Hey, Artie, Wimatanya, great TV spot. Y'all looked and sounded great. Thank you so much, Artie. We appreciate it. Next time we
indeed.
need like a picture of you that we just hold up like you've been dead for years or something,
Yeah.
you know. Like,
Here's our buddy Artie.
all right, I think there's one thing left to say. What you got?
Wimatanya.
Wimatanya indeed, y'all. I threw a little Texas on it there at the end. We'll see you.
There you go.
Boy, I tried to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas.